This is the Samsung Galaxy A series lineup, the A17, A27, A37, and A57. But only one of these is really worth your money, while another should be avoided at all costs. I'm Olive, and with Ezzy, we're putting these wildly popular phones to the test.
From design, display, battery, and performance all the way to cameras. Let's go!
On the outside, all four of these look extremely similar, all featuring the signature key island. The A57 is a hair smaller and feels the most premium thanks to aluminium bezels. The rest use plastic. At the back, the budget A17 has glass fiber reinforced plastic, whereas the rest offer Gorilla Glass Victus Plus.
And despite all of them packing the exact same battery size, none weigh over 7 ounces. In fact, the A57 is the lightest of the bunch. We did get some weird results during a battery drain test though, but we'll get to that in just a bit.
Another key difference is that the A17 and A27 have the fingerprint scanner on the power button, while the A37 and the A57 go with an under-display scanner. These two also get an upgrade to a fully submersible IP68 rating, while the entry-level A17 sticks with IP54 splash resistance.
But for some wild reason, Samsung downgraded the A27 from last year's IP67 to IP64, meaning a drop in the toilet will definitely kill it. Now, before we uncover what these displays hide, let's talk about our sponsor Temu, where we got all these cool gadgets for crazy cheap. Like these animated LED lamps, they are absolutely perfect for your man cave. They feature multiple lighting scenes, and they even adjust in size to fit your space. We've also got this 3-in-1 wireless charging station for your phone, watch, and earbuds. Because let's be real, we all hate cable clutter. And for another wireless upgrade, check out this universal gaming controller. Just snap in your phone and your thumbs won't block your screen during a match ever again. There's so much more to find on Temu, like this magnetic power bank that includes a ring to bring MagSafe style support to any phone with wireless charging. I mean, you can even find a telescopic flashlight there. What's not to like? Best of all, with this code right here, you can get a €100 coupon bundle. All you have to do is download the app, create an account, and paste the code into the search bar. You'll unlock multiple coupons with tier discounts ranging from €15 all the way up to a big €30 off, depending on how much you feel like spending. Don't sleep on this though, because then you'll only have 24 hours to use it. Huge thanks for Temu for sponsoring this video.
Alright, so there are no massive differences here, but definitely some key ones. All of these AMOLED screens are the exact same size and support a 120Hz refresh rate, with the exception of the A17, which is still stuck at 90Hz. Brightness levels also proved to be significantly higher on the A57 and the A37 in our testing. The more budget-friendly models were noticeably dimmer when it came to both high and peak brightness. These last two also miss out on proper HDR support, while the higher tier models fully support HDR10+ content.
Right. On top of that, the A57 gets much slimmer bezels, giving it a more premium look. And speaking of glow-ups, a very welcome upgrade for the A27 is that punch hole cutout instead of the dated teardrop notch found on last year's model or this year's Galaxy A17.
Adding to that, Gorilla Glass Victus now protects the screen of the A17, but the other three still have the tougher Victus Plus version.
You can pause the video right here for all the display specs.
So altogether, the A57 and the A37 come equipped with the absolute best panels of the lineup. But once we move onto the cameras, you'll see how Samsung is still finding ways to shortchange you for what you're paying. And that's not even the worst part. They straight up downgraded one of these. All four of these come equipped with a 50-megapixel primary sensor, but they aren't all built the same. The A37 adopted the exact same beefier sensor from the flagship A57, while the A27 and the A17 are still stuck with smaller sensors. In practice, all four deliver punchy colors, but we notice the A57 applies a bit too much artificial sharpening, while the A27 and A17 have a noticeably tighter crop, making photos look slightly zoomed in.
So that's a clear win for the A37 getting that main camera upgrade. But when it comes to the ultra-wide lenses, the A27 took a straight-up downgrade. It now packs the same tiny 5-megapixel ultra-wide as the A17. The A37 gives you 8 megapixels, and the A57 sits at the top with 12 megapixels. Unsurprisingly, the best shots came from the A57, while the A27 delivered the worst photos of the group.
Yeah, it was super weird considering the A27 is brand new. It might need an update to fix that janky image processing. Now, those third lenses on the back aren't telephotos. They're pretty redundant macro cameras. You get 5 megapixels on the A57 and A37, and just 2 megapixels on the A27 and the A17. And honestly, you're better off simply taking a photo with the main camera and then cropping it in. This usually yields way better detail in most cases.
As for zoom, it's all digital across the board. Shots from all four are usable, but the A57 uses heavier post-processing to keep shots looking much sharper. Portrait shots hold up well in all four, though we noticed the A27 makes skin tones way too pale and washed out. As Olive mentioned, hopefully Samsung will fix that out with a software update.
When it comes to video on the main lenses, the A17 is capped at 1080p at 30 FPS, while the upper three models can all film in full 4K at 30 FPS. But there is a catch. The A27 lacks any form of stabilization when shooting in 4K. So if you don't want your footage to look like Jello, you'll have to step down to 1080p at 30 FPS.
For ultra-wide video, the A57 is the only one capable of shooting in 4K at 30 FPS, while the other three max out at 1080p at 30 FPS. But this time around, the A57 looks pretty rough. All shadows take on this weird green tint. On the bright side though, it has the widest field of view, so you trade video quality for a wider frame.
Where we got a genuine surprise though was with the selfie cameras. First off, the A27 looks awful, while the other three actually look really impressive. Even the entry-level A17 looks better than much more expensive phones.
Right? The A17 uses a 13-megapixel selfie shooter, while the other three have an identical 12-megapixel sensor. So the A27 is definitely suffering from major software issues.
You can see those same software issues on video mode too. All four feature fixed focus front cameras, but the A27 looks super blurry and strangely zoomed in.
Just for info, resolution here tops out at 4K 30 FPS on the A57 and A37, while the A27 and A17 max out at 1080p 30 FPS.
So now let's test out the audio on all of these devices. We'll start off over here with the A57. What do you guys think? How do I sound? Moving on, we have the A37. Does it sound any better or not? What do you think? Then we have the A27. I'm in a relatively busy area. There's some cars, people talking. How's it handling that? And finally, we have the A17. Does it sound better or worse? What do we think? As always, let's talk about it. So all four handle voices reasonably well, but you can definitely hear the A17's audio. It lacks overall definition compared to the rest. So yeah, the A57 and A37 are easily the most reliable shooters in this lineup, while the A27 is easily the worst. Whether it's buggy software or bad optimization, most of the shots of the A27 were just bad. So the cameras definitely tell a story, but let's move over to performance and see if we finally got the boost in raw power that we've all been waiting for years. So just like last year, we have 3 Exynos chipsets and 1 Snapdragon, and it's the exact same Snapdragon as last year, just recycled inside the A27. For RAM, we have 8GB in our A57, 37, and 27, while our A17 only has 4. Storage starts at 128GB in all, but only the A57 climbs to 512.
Keep in mind though, only the A27 and A17 offer micro SD card support, leaving the A37 at a pretty big disadvantage.
Now, to give you a taste of how these phones handle real-world tasks, we ran our usual round of tests, starting with some gaming. First up was Grid Autosport, which is a full-fledged console port. We were happy to see that almost all maintained a perfectly stable 30 FPS throughout our session in graphics mode. Temperatures also stayed fine all around, but the A57 definitely ran the chilliest of the 4.
But we wanted more, so we launched Wuthering Waves and cranked every single graphics setting to the max. And this is where we saw clear winners and losers. The A57 managed to hover between 40 and 50 FPS, while the A17 literally dropped to 0 FPS. It also ran the hottest, struggling to display that 3D slideshow.
Moving on to creative work, we threw 99 photos into into Lightroom and hit render. Unsurprisingly, this put the A57 right at the top and the A17 at the bottom. Interestingly though, the Snapdragon-powered A27 actually outperformed the A37 by some seconds.
For video editing, we exported a 5-minute 4K 30fps project using CapCut. Once again, times decreased as we climbed the pricing tiers, with the A57 taking first place. But as you can see, the A37 was right on its heels, finishing just 9 seconds lower.
And now it's time for the benchmarks. Let's start with Geekbench 6, where we saw decreasing numbers with each step down the lineup. The A57 clearly took the crown, delivering slightly higher scores than what we got when we reviewed the Nothing Phone 4a Pro.
That's actually interesting because things got a bit more humbling in 3D Mark. This A57 completely separated itself from the pack here. However, these numbers are nothing to write home about, considering it scored way lower than the Nothing Phone that we just mentioned.
Oof, yeah, now that you say it, in Antutu, the A57 was again the best of these four. But drawing even another comparison, it couldn't beat the score of the Pixel 10a. Thankfully, when we tested storage speeds using the CPDT benchmark, the A57, 37, and 27 clocked nearly identical numbers thanks to their UFS 3.1 storage. The A17 and its older UFS 2.2 storage was, however, slower by comparison. So even if the A57 is the clear winner among these four, its performance is still a bit underwhelming compared to similarly priced phones from brands like Nothing and Google.
But now, let's look at our battery testing results I teased earlier in the video. Because having the exact same battery size doesn't mean that problems can't arise. So when it comes to the battery specs, there is absolutely nothing new here compared to last year's models. We have the same batteries, the same charging speeds, and same lack of wireless charging. But I'm going to let Olive deliver the interesting news to you.
So here's how our drain test goes. We calibrated all screens to 500 nits, turned off all battery-saving features, and ran our 9-app loop, which includes social media scrolling, 4K video recording, web browsing, navigation, gaming, video and music streaming, plus video calling. The first one to turn off the lights was the A17, with the A27 following right after it. The A37 hung on for nearly an hour longer, but the battery king was the A57, lasting 10 hours and 35 minutes. So the problem is that the more budget phones pack power-hungry chips that have to work in overdrive to handle the exact same tasks. Meanwhile, the more efficient chips inside the higher tier models perform tasks far more efficiently despite having better specs. As for charging times, we plugged them all into a 100 watts charger. Interestingly, the first one to hit a full tank was the A37, taking just a little over an hour. The A57 crossed the finish line next, followed by the A27, leaving the A17 in dead last.
But battery life is only one piece of the puzzle. The day-to-day experience is what truly makes or breaks a phone. And honestly, one big frustration had us ready to return one of these phones right away. First off, you've already got One UI 8.5 running on all of these, and it's awesome to see Samsung committing to 6 full years of updates in every single one of them.
Now, the software and features are mostly identical, though there are some notable omissions. For example, Samsung made a big deal about the brand new Bixby powered by Perplexity, but this feature is completely missing on the A17, even if it runs mostly on the cloud. In fact, this A17 lacks all the intelligent features found on its 3 siblings. What it does have, though, is tons of bloatware.
I mean, thankfully we're not in the old TouchWiz days, so you can easily uninstall that junk, but it is true that it's super annoying to have it taking up precious space on your brand new phone.
Exactly, but something you can't change is that the A17 feels sluggish from the very moment you set it up. But being fair, that's just the reality of only having 4 gigs of RAM.
And the A17 isn't even the phone that got us super frustrated. That title belongs to the A27. During our weeks of testing, apps will randomly refuse to work until we completely restarted the phone. And trust me, that gets old real fast.
it is a new phone, so updates will definitely be coming soon. As a quick pro tip valid for all of these phones, we highly recommend turning off RAM Plus on the models with 8 GB of RAM, as it can actually introduce stutters. Although you should leave it turned on for the A17 so that your apps don't reload every single time you exit them. Alright, so now that we have covered just about everything, I guess it is time to reveal which one of these you should actually go out and buy and which one you should definitely run away from.
Wait. Before we get to that, you guys need to hear the speakers, because only the A57 and A37 come with a stereo setup, whereas the budget models only come with mono audio.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call to quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
Alright, this is the moment of truth. If we strictly choose between these 4 phones, then the $549 Galaxy A57 is easily the one to get. You get a more compact design, an improved processor, and the best battery life of the bunch.
That's right, but the $449 A37 is also a fantastic alternative. It upgrades to the same main camera module as the A57, plus also has a new processor, meaning real-world performance isn't far off from the top model.
So which one of these should you not even touch with a 10-foot pole? Well, it's not the A17, it's the $349 A27. As you saw throughout our testing, the experience was just plain frustrating, plagued by weak performance and a laundry list of software bugs.
The $199 A17 is by no means a powerhouse, but it's still worth considering if you're a casual user who sticks to the basics, like checking emails, web browsing, and playing basic games.
However, if we do look outside of this lineup, last year's Galaxy A56 is honestly a way better value than any of these new models. Another killer option is Google Pixel's 9a, and the best part is that you can actually easily find both of these on sale pretty much everywhere right now.
But if you want to see a full review on last year's Galaxy A series, click on our full review right here.
Also, in case you want exclusive access to videos and perks, go ahead and press that join button. Here's a special shout out to our latest Ultra members, Greg, Skem, and Bertshell. Oh, and before you continue doom scrolling, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and hit subscribe, because we're always testing the latest tech to help you make the best choice.
We'll see you in our next video, and until then,
Take care.